Hello everyone, we're out at Tailfeather Farms again, and things are starting to turn green, which is good because that means we will be able to start moving the pigs to a new area so we have some fresh greens to eat. So I already fed them for the day, gave them water, and I'm bringing you along as we figure out where to put the fence. Pretty soon, I need to remove this tree. So, over here, what we just walked through was one of the main cutting areas for the logging company, and many of the trails that they drug trees through would end up right over here. There's a few different paths to get to this location, and they would have their semi-truck and log skidder, and there's a machine that was just designed to pull the limbs off and cut them to length and everything, and it had like a crane type hand on it, a grapple, and whatever was too crooked or too short just had a hole in the center of it, whatever, all the scraps went in this pile. Of course, there's another pile over there, and there's at least two other large piles. One of them just makes this one look absolutely tiny. It's maybe 3 times the size of this. So I'm sure you'll see those in future videos. This isn't going to go to waste. I've got a sawmill, so I'm going to be milling a lot of this wood, even though it wasn't good enough to take it off the land. It's still good enough for me, and so I'm going to be able to put it to good use. It might even it goes into shelters, or might sell some of it to help recoup some cost. But this other stuff over here that's not able to be milled, I also have a diesel mulcher. It can handle up to I think it's a 10-inch piece of wood. So it should be able to handle these branches and stuff just fine. So we can turn those into wood chips that we can put down for bedding on the animals. And if you follow Joel Salatin, he talks about creating a I forget the terms, but it's like it's a diaper of some sorts, where you put everything on the ground. You go, it's a deep bedding method. You put it on the ground. Your animals might be in a barn for the winter time. They use it. It's full of manure and everything else. And then you put another load of wood chips over it. It keeps the smell down. It biodegrades. Makes you get a lot of bacteria, and worms, and life living in that. And then at the end of the year, you bring it out, you turn it, and then you've got great compost, and you can make some great soil with that process. Also, something else that we're going to be doing is biochar. We'll be making some biochar. Biochar is kind of like your activated charcoal. It's a process where you heat up wood and it off gases. And I think it makes methane. And you take those gases and you can actually use those in the production of biodiesel, which is something else I plan on doing. So we'll be collecting all the methane. I don't think it's methanol. I think it's just methane. I could be wrong. Methanol. But we'll collect the fumes that are coming off the wood. And then the wood itself does not catch on fire. So there's multiple ways you can do it, but essentially you put wood in a can and you have fire underneath of it, but that can is sealed in such a way that the gases can leave out the bottom, but it doesn't ignite. And since it's not igniting, what you have behind is just a whole lot of carbon. And you do have to be careful with it because there's a chemical process going on that it can actually ignite after you bring it out and expose it to air and everything. So you do have to bring it out, spread it out, get the heat off of it, wet it down, but then you can put that into the soil, and that that can be really good for your soil. So we'll be making biochar, we'll be making mulch, we'll be making wood planks, and some of this will go into fuel for a fire. Eventually we might be heating our home out here with it. We might be warming up our water or whatever. So we are going to do our best not to let any of this work that they have done go to waste. It's going to put a lot of work on us to be able to harvest everything that's on the ground, and I might not be able to get to all of it before some of it goes bad, but again, it's going back into the earth. So worst case scenario, we'll make better soil somewhere. As you can see, there's a lot of clay and rock in the soil that you see right here. Let me make sure you can actually see down there. So this area of Kentucky, we have sinkholes. On this property, we've got slate, sandstone, limestone, I can't even think what they're called. It's the rocks that have the, my friend calls them brain rocks, but they have crystals inside them and stuff. We've got a lot of cool things going on in the soil out here. And some great, like all the rocks that you can see coming out the side of the hill. I mean, there's some amazing things to see out here. So we'll show you around a little bit, but this is one of those logging paths that comes in here, and this tree was down when we bought the place, but I haven't come out here and actually cut it down yet. I've been going over and under it, so we'll fix that soon. Anyhow, so we'll go under it today. We've got our electric fence. This is an Energizer, solar powered. It has a 6-volt battery in it, and it feeds this hog fencing that goes all the way around. I like this type of fencing because it's easy for the hogs to see, and after they're trained to it, they don't run into it, which is a pretty good thing. Like, she'll come up to it, but she's not going to touch that fence. And these pigs are friendly too. This is what we use to transport our smaller pigs, like the 2 boars that we brought in the other day. I was actually able to bring them up in just a 2-wheel dolly. So. All right, so you step over the fence, try not to touch it, don't want to get zapped. If you're not familiar with electric fences, they pulse. So it's something like this. So it's not going to be on all the time. They can actually touch the fence and nothing happen until that pulse comes along, and then it lights them up. You'll see it most effective on their snout, on their nose. But essentially they're creating the circuit between the ground and the wire. Okay, so brought you out here to show you the area that the pigs have been in since about February. And you can see they've trampled it down pretty good. Life is still coming up, but I want them to have a fresh area that they can play in. So we're going to take this logging road and we're going to go just a little bit further. Look down there at the end, you see my boys over there just playing in the dirt. A good thing to do. So we got their water right here. Like I said, I've already filled up the water for the day. And I'm actually probably going to leave that right there because we're going to go right here for the next area. Once again, there's a lot of stuff that's fallen in the woods, but that's okay. The pigs can go over it, under it, around it. But we've got a lot of new life that they can keep themselves busy with. And the plan right now, as it stands, is to move them maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. That might be asking a lot because the fence is really hard to stand up by yourself. And what you have to do is to find an area that doesn't have something like that in it. And we'll go around it. And we're going to try to grab looks like we have about 1/2 to 3/4 of an acre over there. If I look at what I already have in place.